Now, the CBS 21 Political Insiders with Rob Hanrahan.
I've got my great team of strategists here. Charlie Giroux on the Republican side, Mark Singal on the Democratic side. Guys, let's start out with the would and the wouldn't. Today, the president said he should have said wouldn't when he said would, and the comment had to do with why it would be Russia interfering in the election. Mark, the Democrats jumped on this immediately.
I'm not buying it. That was very weak, and it was lame, and it was a weak attempt to make up for a truly bad performance. In fact, John McCain said it was the worst performance by a president in recent memory, and I think it's right.
By that, you're talking about yesterday's news conference with President Putin of Russia.
That's right.
Charlie, your take on today's kind of backpedaling?
Anytime you've got to explain, anytime you've got to walk back statements, it's not a good position for you to be in. The governor's had to do that on occasion. Even I have had to do it. It's not something you want to do. But what we're losing in sight of here are a couple of things, and I don't like to psychoanalyze anybody. Mark kind of likes to, but, you know, the president seems to have a difficulty in acknowledging that there was Russian meddling in the election. That was nothing new. They've been meddling in our elections for 50 years. Without
and in other countries
around the world, and without any real impact. That's the key. He somehow feels that to acknowledge that they messed around in our election delegitimizes his presidency. It doesn't, because the fact of the matter is, and Rosenstein himself said it again the other day, there's no evidence whatsoever to say they were successful. They tried, mucked around a little bit, and failed.
Mark, he always adds collusion in there.
Well,
those are different things.
Yeah, absolutely. And Charlie's absolutely right. Everybody knows now that the Russians meddled in our election. Everybody except the President of the United States, evidently. And Charlie, you're absolutely right. What the President blew was an opportunity to look Vladimir Putin in the eye on an international stage and say, we know what you did, cut it out, or the sanctions are going to get a lot worse. Instead, he bowed to the Russians, and he threw his own intelligence agencies under the bus. It was a horrible performance.
Charlie, you're a great historian, and you're great with Ronald Reagan, especially, who did so much work in this area with communism and everything. What was your take on the entire summit with Putin and Trump?
Well, look, it wasn't the president's finest hour. It was nowhere near the debacle that some on the left would try to make it. And to try to make the statements that he gave there treasonous is one of their political problems, because it's the little boy that cried wolf. They hype this stuff up to levels that it never should arrive at. And bluntly, this is going to be off the front page by next week sometime. And what it's going to be replaced by, Rob, which is where the focus is really going to be come November, is the economy here at home, which is what people vote on. There's all sorts of good news coming out about the economy right now. Unfortunately, this obscured it for a couple of days.
So, Mark, this is not going to last through the 2018 midterms.
Oh, yes, it is. I think Charlie's wrong about this, and it certainly is not the left hyping this. It's the president's own ineptitude that caused this. The Wall Street Journal itself said this was a national embarrassment, and I think people in the November elections are going to have to answer the question, are we ready to vote to put a check on this president who doesn't seem to get it right? I think that's going to be a key issue.
And also, we just have to wait for the next news cycle. Could be in another 10 minutes, guys.
That's right.
That's the key. That's the key.
That might be it. Mark, Charlie, thank you. You can hear more from our political insiders Sunday mornings at 8:30. Join us for Face the State. Great program there. Hope you'll join us.